smaller groups like that, do you feel there's more of a bond that takes place?
Yeah, it seems now I can relate to bigger groups now. When we had the KG1 gathering for the Asian zone in Sydney, I could really relate to the bigger group. We could split up in smaller groups, but we stayed together because it felt so good. And it was such a variety of people from all kinds of places of Asia, around Asia and New Zealand. So it worked very well, but I feel that there are many people that if a group gets too big, they tense up, and it is better to have small groups.
Yeah. Lavinia, how did you feel when you heard about Bapak's passing? What was your reaction at that time?
One thing I know, and that seems to be negative, I didn't want other people to talk to me about it. I didn't want to read about it, what other people's experiences were. I wanted to, it was really very, very personal for me. And I still don't want to read all the details of what happened and who was there and what they did, and so it just doesn't feel it concerns me.
Yeah.
But I feel that something has changed. I feel also from other people that it seems to be that we kind of took on more responsibility. At least I feel more responsible. And in the beginning it seemed rather heavy. I got so tired and exhausted. I don't know if it was just knowing that Barbara was no longer there, or being really willing to accept more responsibility.
Yeah. Getting back to the conference here, or this meeting, has there been anything particular that you have felt in yourself, any kind of a change or any particular experience that you'd like to share?
Yes, I felt very strongly about the testing that Ruslan suggested, and I was very fortunate to do it last night. Our little group, most of the ladies were too tired to do more testing. We had a very trying experience yesterday in the ladies group, and so most of us were really exhausted. But I just had a chance to test it with some other ladies.
Okay, do you remember what those questions were?
Yeah, it was, I mean, I can't phrase it directly, but to how I am surrendering to God's will. And I did it mostly, I felt, in my latihan, how I'm doing it now. But I did it with grumbling, always complaining, oh no, not again, and why does it happen? But I did it.
Yeah.
But I also, at the time when I was receiving it, I felt very much that the grumbling and doing it more or less, not very readily, took away from the value of it all. Yeah. While then, when I experienced how God would have me follow His guidance and His will, it was really beautiful. I really liked that. Yeah. And then we also tested about how to convey what we receive to the world. I do it a little, I get out and too enthusiastic, probably from the heart. Yeah. I really don't do it knowingly, but obviously much of it comes from the heart. While it was in the movement, it was about the same, but it was much more relaxed and well, more from the inner and gentler.
Yeah.
But I really feel very strongly to share it.
Yeah.
With the world. And then we tested the grace to really be able to follow these two testings, you know, to be able to carry it out according to God's will.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say or share? Or?
Well, I really feel, but that's more or less Los Angeles. I feel that we should pull together more. We could accomplish so much more if we stayed close to each other. And yeah, there's one other thing. I'm really sad to see that so few members came. And mostly people here are helpers. And I feel really sad about that because it shows that the members don't really have the feeling or understanding how important it is, these gatherings, and what strength it can give you. And I see also a lack in me as a helper that I could not convey it enough, how important it is to come and attend things like this.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Wrest it away from you.
This is group 3. This is my group.
Okay, and
These are the people I've been sharing the last few days with. Oops.
Well,
Okay, this is enough. We're not going to... Well, here we are, visiting with Machmud Kennedy, who just moved out from Virginia. How have you been enjoying this meeting that we've had here?
Oh, a little of this and a little of that. I've been enjoying it mostly by not going to a lot of meetings and not doing a lot of testing. And in this way, I seem to be able to still be able to function on Earth as a human being.
Do you feel this kind of a gathering is a positive experience?
Yeah, well, I think it's impossible for it not to be, right?
How did you feel when you got the news that Papa had passed away?
Well, we went down and did latihan, and we had an unbelievably strong latihan. And the latihan that we did was something like a farewell song to Bapak. And it was, as I have found out also from other people, it was as if he left a great deal of strength behind for everybody. And I couldn't help feeling that Subud was not damaged at all by the fact that he had left. It had become stronger, if anything, and the people in it were stronger. So I don't know what that means, but it's obvious that we depended upon him, whether we knew it or not, and we were maybe a little too dependent. So when he left, why, we were suddenly really put on our own 2 feet, and we began to realize it. Whether Subud would go or not, yes, we felt it was very definite. There was no way that it couldn't go from the way it was set up. And we didn't have to test, what is his mission, because that's inside everybody that's done the latihan. It is the latihan, period. We're bringing it to mankind. And you don't have to ask God about it. Just ask yourself. Has it been a benefit to you? And you can't have any answer except yes, no matter whether you're in crisis, out of crisis, in enterprise, or out of enterprise, or whatever. You have to say yes.
when you pull the handle, right? It's fresh water.
Just go ahead then.
From up above.
Regular life.
The trick.
Is there anything that has happened at this particular gathering that you want to share, or any kind of experiences that
Well, I don't know. Whatever I would say is applicable only to me and to my particular observations. I've kind of had a summary over the past years, and it kind of gave me a new view. And what I've seen is that now I've done 2 tests during this period of time, and that's all. Each test I remember clearly, and each test had a very definite influence upon me, and each test opened up a new direction for me. Now if I had laid another test on top of that, and then another one, and then another one, and then another, I wouldn't have been able to function with what I had received in the first test. So what I see is you have to be careful. If you really want to receive something of benefit for your life, your testing should bring into your awareness and into your being the fact that you can use the test. If it's done to, and I don't say this is wrong because many people need that, but if it's just continually overlaying yourself with more and more testing, you come to a kind of state of, I don't want to use idiocy, but the implication is totally there. And you're using a higher power for, it's not of any benefit to your real life. It doesn't hang on long enough. Whereas if you're careful and can wait and try to receive and to experience what is really true for you, how to be sincere before you test, you can really function better with less testing. In fact, I received the more you test, the weaker you get. So, so you have to be careful and utilize what you do get. You have to be able to utilize it. And if you do have a receiving, walk off. Go away. Let it settle in you and consider it and feel it and so forth. But then it has an effect for you and in you, and it really can be useful.
Sounds like good advice.
Well, advice is free. No charge, folks, no charge at all.
Anything else you'd like to share?
Oh, that's the main one, I guess. I can't think of anything at the moment. That's kind of a general summary of, of all the places I've been and seen and done, and done myself excessive testing and get into this high state. And of course, then it's followed with the kind of a depression, which means you've fallen back down to the bottom, which is the basement, and that's where we usually are living. And you can't utilize all these marvelous, great things you get, so you have a kind of depression. And that's a kind of a weakness, but if you're careful and if you're ready for really receiving a test, and I think you have to be ready for it. You have to be willing, you have to accept, and so forth. So that's all I have to say.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Hope you have a good life down here in LA.
Okay.
See you later.
All right.
By the way, did you get my
Where are you?
thing?
Is your finger on the button yet?
It's on the button.
I'm in trouble.
It's Mr. Peters. I didn't see the mailbox.
So we drove, we got the car fixed in France, we drove up to Belgium, and we were driving down one of the freeways on our way to Copenhagen, and the car stopped running. We both just looked at each other, got out, Hamilton, grabbed our conga drums and baggage, and just left it there. Never went back for it or anything. Heck with it.
Who are you?
I don't know anymore. A couple of days ago I might have been able to tell you.
You've taken away his soul with the camera.
Right.
There's nothing left.
Who are you?
Well, that's none of your business. Who are you? Who are you?
That's none of your business.
Then get that thing out of my face.
All right. Let's say this is Raphael Seidel from New Mexico. Raphael, have you ever been to one of these things before?
Not like this one.
What do you feel about
I'm getting direction now. You better turn up that focus.
What do you feel about what's happened here? Do you feel
Very, very interesting. Yeah, I'll be back for your next one.
did anything particular
More.
happen to
I
you?
can't emote more. I don't practice.
What's going on here?
Maybe the inner content piece. Tell me where your feelings are lying so close to the surface that they well off like a mainspring of pure crystal water. Thank you for calling.
Lunch begins in about
Bye.
12 minutes.
What? What's beginning in 12 minutes?
Make all the mistakes you
You know this guy?
Yeah, I just met your
It's
husband.
on
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna get a chance to do some testing with you.
Yeah, you bet. After lunch. Is that the beginning?
This is a familiar face.
Hi, Rahman.
What do you feel about the way things have been going here at Ruslan?
Very blessed. I feel very satisfied at this point.
Don't worry, I won't, Jack.
Yeah, and a good turnout too. I feel refreshed and closer to my brothers and sisters, which is always a good feeling.
Did anything special happen to you over the weekend?
Yeah, I did some testing which I found very beneficial. And anything that brings one closer to the latihan always makes you feel top of the line, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Are we going to go into the meeting here, or
Yeah, let's go in and see what
Okay.
everyone had to say.
either way?
Well, it doesn't matter what's
Okay, everybody. All right, now the seat is your last chance to have a seat. Quiet, quiet, please, quiet. Please, quiet. Thank you.
Trying to break the camera?
After lunch, which will happen approximately 12:30, there are some special groups that are going to get together to meet. There's only one that I know of, and that's a group that's going to get together to talk about Subud news.
Who are you?
What?
Who are you?
Who am I?
Yes.
Good question. What nerve? Hello? Michaela. Michaela. I'm on the banana. Okay. Banana tree. Banana. I'm gonna send it to you.
Who's the banana lady down there?
It has all the bananas in it. Second table. Yeah. Yes, they are. I want one more because the shadow is maybe not gonna work that way. Let's try again. Keep going. Keep going.
This is, I'm being taken by Subud's max head right now.
It's taking away your soul,
Yeah, that's true.
your inner content.
Yeah.
Did you have any to begin with?
I know you're starting up a conversation. Cut before lunch.
Right.
Oh, not Rockman. Now.
Who are these beautiful ladies here?
Beautiful.
Say your name on the camera just so I know who you are.
Me? My name on the camera is Lorette Ben Nathan. How are you?
Where
What's
you
your name on the camera?
I'm Rockman.
How'd you do, Rockman?
Where are you from?
London.
London?
Yes.
A long way from home, huh?
This is
Well,
real life.
It's really low. He's got film in there?
Yes.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This.
I was waiting for the clicking.
You didn't know that it was a movie
no,
camera?
I was acting like a fool for life.
Yeah? Oh.
How have you been enjoying this meeting?
Oh, it's been wonderful. It really has.
Anything special happened to you here, or?
Lots
Yeah.
of wonderful insight, things that, so I can go on. She's a new person.
She's a new woman.
New poison.
You poisoned, huh? How about you, Michaela? Are you glad you came?
I'm not discussing this issue.
What issue?
I'm not discussing any issues with you at the moment. I'm not speaking to you.
How come?
I'm leaving. I'm
Well,
leaving forever.
lunch is only on for another
Lunch is
15
coming.
minutes. It's a beautiful
Oh,
day.
you'd rather go to lunch than talk to me, huh?
I would rather go to lunch than do anything else in the world.
Oh, someone wishes.
Turn around, Rockman. I'm going to take a picture of yourself.
What?
Turn around so you can take a picture of yourself. Right. And I'll ask you all the questions.
Okay.
I say. How are you today?
Oh, there's some really beautiful women behind you, all three of them.
I beg your pardon?
Once an actor, he's only...
There's more people walking by.
Thank you. Walking by.
More people who want... Okay, just first, if you would just identify yourself and where you're from, just say a little bit like that.
I'm George Melican, and I live in Los Angeles, California.
George, how long have you been in Subud?
Less than a year. I forget your name.
Rockman.
Rockman. Less than a year.
Yeah. And how have you felt it's been going for you, just in general?
I felt like I haven't been satisfied. The work on my head and brain has been fine, but I've been comparing myself to the boys, the fellows that are, going around the room, singing, dancing, and I haven't been using my mouth or my legs. It's been an inner work, standing. So I've been comparing and feeling like I guess I'm not a regular Joe, a regular member.
Has coming to this gathering here, has that made you feel any differently about that?
Yeah, the mouth has opened up, and a lot has come through, and so that aspect has happened, and the latihans have been richer. Not that they're not rich in L.A. It's just that there's this constant work on the head, but this is richer, and the work we do through the what's that other thing we do?
Testing?
Testing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the testing makes it even richer, much richer.
Yeah.
And yeah, really.
Is there any particular experiences that you'd like to share?
Well, the one that's closest to my mind now is what took place this morning. It started yesterday. Some people were suggesting that I look at my ancestors to understand some questions in my life, and I resisted it. I didn't want it. I didn't turn it down, but I really didn't want it. They picked it up. But later on, I started being interested in it, and today when I opened it up, it was big stuff and very good, and it's a whole new world that I knew nothing about, and it seems like the influence I received from my ancestors is fantastically positive compared to what some of the other people received. I guess I should be very grateful. It's like a tremendous force for good inside of me from my past that wants not to have much of a personality life on this earth, but which is okay, but to really quest forward for their goals as well, which is God and Allah, and they want to participate in it. And I don't know how that would work, but it's a nice feeling to have all this participation going on with all these ancestors through this body. I don't know how long I will believe this, but right now it feels good.
Yeah. Do you feel more positive about being in Subud now, or has that feeling changed since?
I don't think I've ever had anything less than positive feelings about Subud. I recognize it for what it is, and in fact, a few months ago I had a receiving in a non-Subud atmosphere that the highest experience for mankind or for a person was to experience God in a creative way. And I thought, what esoteric practices are there? And it was obvious that Subud was one of those top ones where you allow the God energy to come and flow out through you and allow various types of God expressions or creative movements. So to me, and that day I had kind of the insight that the latihan was one of the highest of the various practices that men and women do, such as meditation, which I saw at that point as not as full an expression.
Yeah.
Not that I don't meditate or would say anything negative about meditation. Not at all. I wouldn't say anything negative about it.
You mentioned that your latihan has changed since this gathering.
Yeah. It's richer and more expressive, and so I'm one of the boys now.
Did you recognize the difference? I mean, what I'm trying to pin down is what happened in the latihan or in the meeting to kind of bring on that kind of a change.
Well, the mouth started opening and words started coming out, and being that I'm a psychologist, I allow many things to come out, positive and negative, and I just allow it all and observe it. I just observe what's happening, and it's okay. And I noticed some words yesterday. I noticed some words that were coming out of the past. Some old habitual words that I had as a response to things, and I noticed they were coming back. It's like it needs to be loosened up and worked